Welcome back. You're still watching the Daily Debate, and tonight, as I mentioned, we'll be focusing on the Africa Health ExCon, your gateway to innovation and trade in the field of the healthcare and the pharmaceutical industries. And such an important conference and an important topic for the Egyptian healthcare sector. I'm honored to be having with me on Daily Debate for tonight Dr. Saeed Hadi, the president of Horus University and the former dean of the Faculty of Medicine at Mansoura University. Thank you very much for being with us tonight, Doctor.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime. Of course, Doctor, you know the importance of the Africa Health ExCon being held here in Egypt for the third successive year under the auspices of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, and in the attendance of Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli as well today at Al Manara Center. What are the objectives of this edition of the conference?
Okay, this is the third time this big conference is actually a conference, an exhibition. It's called ExCon, and the previous 2 years was inaugurated by the President himself, showing the importance of that event. Today it was inaugurated by the Prime Minister, and we congratulate him for being nominated to reform the cabinet.
Yes.
Indeed, this event has 3 initiatives and importances. It is a political one, it is an economic one, and a scientific one as well. Political because it strengthens the ties among the Egyptian countries, among the African countries. As you said in your introduction, Egypt is the gate to Africa, and we should work on that one to regain our strong ties with all African countries. Number 2 is trade and economic benefit. 500 of the biggest corporations in medical industries and medical supplies are present today in Cairo. They're going to discuss how to make these facilities available to all African nations, which is very important. As we said before, drug or pharmaceutical industries is the largest legal industry in the world.
Yes, Doctor, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we will be having to be going out to a break, and we'll be returning once again to you on the Daily Debate, so stay tuned. Over tonight, and the former person, we were speaking about the Africa Health ExCon being held here in Egypt, and you mentioned, Doctor, that it is an exhibition as well as a conference being held here in the country under the auspices of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in the presence of Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli. And you were mentioning the importance and the significance of having such a conference being held here in Egypt every year for 2 or 3 years. What does this edition add to the previous 2 ones?
Okay, as I mentioned, there are 3 objectives, main objectives. One is political, strengthen our ties with the African countries. The second is economic, as a gate to the procurement and purchasing of medical supplies and medical medicine.
Yes.
And the third is scientific, because this is the largest conference of its kind, because it covers all aspects of medical fields. For example, now I'm an obstetrician and gynecologist. We couldn't have the conference based on this discipline only, but over the next 3 days there will be for very speciality.
Yes.
It is estimated that around 600 speakers from Egypt, around 160 or more from Africa, the rest of the world, and that's by international standards is a huge conference. So the scientific merit of the conference is quite good. Not only the but also the African. So in the station I'm in, we have some people from France, from Tunisia, from South Africa, from Nigeria. So it makes of all these disciplines coming together. I really think the specialty, and every physician in Egypt decided to take part in this meeting. The mission as well adds value because it illustrates how advanced the medical supplies and the medical equipments. If there's something new, so pharmaceutical companies and medical corporates are exhibiting the art, the state of the art, would be of the and if you
Yes.
made over countries where delegates and representatives we can economically.
Street.
One of the main objectives is for that and country similar countries at a larger scale, the price will come down. So it has an economic benefit. The other thing is we can cooperate in manufacturing. Egypt has a good record, and now we export African and Asian countries. I think 70 countries or more. We achieve around product of our 95 in the near future. Our but lot of companies
Into this field in
this is a golden opportunity. We have options. We should take the wages, okay? We work for music, working for the benefit of Egypt and the benefit of, of African countries. Believe me, where United Egypt has the expertise to add to Africa, and we also need support, in political disputes, whatever, even in our economic hardships, Africa can support us. So we need each other. Unfortunately, there are some disputes within the African nation that make this partnership not complete, like in Sudan, like in Libya. But definitely, this is a golden opportunity that could bring for the benefit of mankind, because we're not speaking about allies to fight somebody. We are speaking about allies in a medical field that Africa needs, that Egypt needs, that everyone needs. The other thing is the cost of this medicine and the cost of this medical supply, as I said, the appliances and things like that, and the instruments and facilities, is getting higher and higher and higher. Each year it is double, the price is double. There are new products that are very expensive. So
globally, not just in Egypt or Africa.
Absolutely everywhere. Egypt, despite the expense, everything looks expensive, but if you try $1 million, for example, is 200,000. The kidney transplant in Egypt is around 200. It is around $1.5 million. It's not so. The replacement, these things are very expensive. So, back, Africa needs that field, not to make allies against somebody else. No, we are uniting to fight disease, and that is the noble alliance that we could build.
It is a humane greenfield, as you've mentioned, Doctor. But how can we be having this balance of the economy, to be having more investments, more opportunities to be investing in the healthcare sector in Africa in general? On the other hand, need better prices, lower prices, to be specific, to be given, to be offered to the citizens, to patients, with higher quality.
That we can run through not only Egypt but also because the cost of care is huge. Some countries allocate 20% of their national income, just 1%, 1/5. Unfortunately, we cannot do that in other countries, but the medical systems everywhere, in particular in Africa, the situation in some because of the past history of the Egyptian governments have the not in a very good relation. The medical missions from Egypt to these countries are carrying on till today. So Egypt at least signed this happens. We will in the Glasgow or rotation together in 1 year. So if we come together, we have the expertise, and the Africans are quite smart, then we can a key player in this area.
Yes, a key player for Egypt in Africa. Seeing coronavirus pandemic, we have had a lead role in terms of giving out assistance to the African countries. How do you think this will be happening on a bigger scale for the future?
I would remind with the year that President Sisi was the president of the African Union.
Yes.
In that year, every month there was a mega event. He bridged, or he managed to get strong ties with all African nations, not only with the Africans, but you remember there was a French African, British African, Russian African, Chinese African, American African. So that was a year to remember. It has never been repeated, but unfortunately immediately after that came the corona and things slowed down. Now it is the time. We can offer Africa a lot of things in the medical field. We can offer training. We can offer. Right now we prepare some form of training courses to African delegates, but we also send missions of physicians, especially surgeons, to Africa as well. We can have Africans here, and we can give grants. We can have some African students to be also graduate of medical students for Egypt. The role of Egypt, or the soft power of Egypt in this field, is very much welcomed. The African nations are looking for it, and we can do it. That is the thing that we can do. Believe me, Mr. Ahmed, based on experience from within and abroad, Egypt has the capabilities to offer to Africa, and Africa opens its doors for Egypt, and it is our opportunity to take this opportunity in a human field. Nobody is going to argue why you go to do surgery. I can just mention Sir Magdi Yaqub.
Yes.
Sir Magdi Yaqub came to Addis Ababa to do cardiac surgery. I was there by chance, you know.
Yes.
And he was met as I see on the television, you can just search for it. He said, today you are visited by the Jesus Christ. You know? So the vision of Professor Sir Yaqub was like a visit by Jesus Christ, meaning he has reached a very prestigious position. So if we do that, we have excellent surgeons, We have excellent physicians.
Yes.
I was in Addis Ababa also. There was a big hospital for vaginal fistula. That's a complication of delivery. We have excellent professors who can do this surgery. So we can do a lot of things. Nigeria is another big potential. South Africa is very advanced in some fields. So we can, we have expertise and we can give Africa something and also get from Africa other things.
Yes, Doctor, allow me to be going to the other report of the daily debate for tonight, which focuses on the Africa Health ExCon, the exhibition and conference at the same time to be held here in Egypt for the past 2 or 3 years. This is the third edition to be held under the auspices of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and in the attendance of Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, and to be focusing on being a gateway to innovation and trade. For the upcoming report, we will be focusing on trade, concentrating on the possible or the potential investments in the field of pharmaceutical industries for Egypt and for Africa. We'll be having more details in the upcoming reports. Stay tuned. Africa Health ExCon 2024 is showcasing the African potential for the investment in manufacturing,